Hi, everyone, and welcome. Are you ready to hear a truly wonderful and magical story? It's all about a kind-hearted prince, his super strong friend, and, well, a very silly mix-up. Our story starts just like all the best fairy tales do, in a beautiful land far, far away. Just imagine, tall, sparkly castles and huge green meadows, the perfect place for an adventure to kick off. All right, let's dive right into our adventure. We're about to meet a young prince who goes on this huge journey, and he learns that being a real hero isn't about wearing a crown. It's about having a kind heart. So, our story actually begins not with the prince, but with a Bogatyr named Nikanor. Now, he was like a big, friendly giant, so strong that when he took a little nap in a field, whoops, he accidentally squished a farmer's yummy green peas. Well, a farmer's son saw the sleeping hero and had a super clever idea. He tiptoed over, used some soft tree bark to make a rope, and gently tied up Nikanor while he was still snoring. Can you just imagine how surprised Nikanor must have been when he woke up? When the king heard about all this, he wanted to make sure that no more peas got squished by accident. So he gave Nikanor a special, cozy room deep underground, a place where he could stay safe and not stumble over any more gardens. And here is where our prince, Ivan, comes in. He was playing in the garden with his special golden arrow when, whoops, his arrow flew right through the tiny little window of Nikanor's special room. Nikanor saw that little golden arrow and got an idea. He called out in a really friendly voice, "Hello up there. If you help me open the door, I'll give you your arrow back and 3 of my super special ones, too." It was a pretty good deal. After Prince Ivan helped his new friend, Nikanor gave him this fun, secret prediction about his future. It was kind of like a treasure map for his life. He said Ivan would have 3 special jobs to do before he would really feel like a prince again. How exciting is that? And just like that, Nikanor was out. He was so strong, he just gave the big door a gentle little push. The guards were so surprised they just tumbled over, just like bowling pins. Nobody got hurt, though. It was all very silly. Now, when the king, Ivan's dad, found out, he wasn't really angry, but he was a little concerned. He decided that Ivan needed to go on a special journey to learn a bit more about being helpful. So he sent Ivan off to see the world, with a servant named Vanka to keep him company. On their journey, they came to a wishing well. Vanka, who really loved to play games, said, "Hey, let's play a silly game. Let's swap clothes and pretend I'm the prince and you're the servant." And Ivan, being so kind, he agreed to play along. So, here's the tricky part. When they got to a new castle, everyone thought the servant Vanka was the prince. Our real Prince Ivan had to keep playing the game and pretend to be Vanka's helper. It was his big secret. Vanka, pretending to be the prince, just loved to show off. He kept telling the new king about all the amazing things Ivan could supposedly do, giving him these totally magical tasks. First, make all the horses' hair sparkle like gold. Then, make all the cows' horns shimmer too. What a challenge! But you see, Ivan had a wonderful secret. Whenever he had a tricky job to do, he would go out to the fields and call in a quiet voice, "Friend Nikanor, I need your help." And poof, like magic, his big, strong friend would appear with a smile, ready to help. Uh-oh. Just when everything seemed to be going okay, a big, grumpy, 3-headed dragon flew over the kingdom. It wasn't trying to be mean, it was just making a lot of loud, grumpy noises. While Vanka was hiding under his bed, Ivan and Nikanor secretly rode out. But they didn't fight the dragon. No, they just told it some funny jokes until all 3 of its heads started to laugh. The dragon laughed so hard it just flew happily back to its mountain. But the quiet didn't last for long. A few days later, an even bigger 6-headed dragon showed up, and this one was even grumpier and making twice as much noise. And once again, our secret hero Ivan and his friend Nikanor went to see the dragon. This time, they sang it a sweet lullaby. And soon, all 6 heads were sleepy and snoring, and the dragon just gently flew back home for a good nap. And finally, the biggest, loudest, most mixed-up monster of them all arrived, a 12-headed dragon. All 12 heads were trying to roar at the same time, and it was a terrible racket. Now, this is where things get really interesting. While trying to calm down all 12 heads at once, Ivan got a tiny little scratch on his arm. The kind princess saw this and ran right out to gently tie a piece of her own soft shawl around it like a bandage. A little while later, the princess went to the kitchen for a glass of water. And who did she see? The cook's helper, Ivan. And on his arm was her piece of shawl. Her eyes went wide. She had figured out the puzzle. "You're the hero," she whispered. And just like that, the secret was out. The princess brought Ivan to her father, the king, and Ivan told everyone his amazing story. The whole kingdom cheered and clapped for Ivan, their kind and very clever hero. And of course, there's a happy ending. Prince Ivan and the kind princess decided to get married. And what about Vanka? Well, he got a wonderful new job helping flowers grow in the garden, and he learned that being honest and kind is the very best game of all. So this whole story really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is being a hero about wearing fancy clothes, or is it about having a brave and kind heart that's always ready to help a friend? That's a lovely thought to end our magical adventure on.